folks, how you doing? Just a quick one. Right, anyway, this time what we're going to do, the legal system, the one you're all afraid of, the Admiralty, Maritime. Let's bend you over, give you another one. But in actual fact, the legal system is just a cloak for the law. It hides the law, that's all it does. It hides the law from those who know no better. The thing is, it's been going for quite a long time, so it's got quite tenacious and it's got quite comfortable in what it does, and it's so compartmentalised that everybody along the lines of the courts, the court clerks, the barristers, the lawyers, or whatever country you're in, whatever they call them, the prosecution, the defence, it's all the bar registered agents, no matter which side it is. But they've got so complacent with this and so compartmentalised that I don't believe myself that everybody within it absolutely knows what they're doing. So it's a bit of a strange situation to actually comprehend just how it works. But I would say it's just the same as the police, and I was saying this earlier to somebody. I say that a bit on here, don't I? But I think it's what sticks in my mind from what I've said. But the reality is, they enter this job, they go into this job, they don't really realise what's going on, they're just doing the job, they're trained to do this job. Somewhere along their journey of this job, they've got to realise what's going on, or they've got to realise something's very, very wrong. From what they're being taught, what they're being told to do, and what the facts of law are. And especially solicitors must find this out fairly quick. And I believe it's how they act and respond to that knowledge that denotes what happens to the rest of their career. And that's the most important factor with the police. It's not if you're a good cop or a bad cop. It's if you realise straight away that you've got to kiss ass, and by kissing ass it means treating everybody you meet like a criminal, and trying to take as many possible as you can to put through the books to show you're a good boy. With the solicitors, it's about maybe shutting up when you could have said something, and get that noted a few times. You keep your mouth shut in court, where it was quite easy. You could have just said one simple word or one phrase and it would all be over. And there they noticed that, and then all of a sudden you're working for the prosecution and working your way up to maybe Attorney General or Solicitor General one day. Who knows, maybe you go further, First Lord of the Treasury, President of the Queen's Bench, or maybe President of the Queen's Bench, just a figurehead. I don't know, I really don't know, what can you say? But hey, at the end of the day, that's what I believe. I believe it's good boys and girls go further, or family bloodlines will get a little bit further in a higher realm. At the end of the day, you come in, you learn what's going on, toe the line, and you may get a few extra treats. Who knows? But that's my belief in it. So with the legal system being a cloak, and you going into any of their realms whatsoever, you're playing with the cloak. Now, that alone has created its own division within the truth movement of the law. I'll say that a bit because the truth movement's quite vast. I'm in quite a bit of it. But with the law sector of it, again, it's compartmentalised. You've got very few who actually know. Them that do know, if they try and tell, they're drowned with the bullshit of them that don't, or them that are being led, or them that are feeding bullshit because that's their job too. I believe most of the heavy hitters in this game are plants, are infiltrated, or are being led by plants or infiltrators, or they just pay chills. It's as simple as that. They're on the payroll, or they're infiltrated one way or the other. And the truth is, it doesn't really matter, and it really doesn't matter. It matters to know in your own heart that they're shills, that they're dangerous. Don't follow the processes. And don't follow anybody processes. Take the knowledge in, do shit. Learn it for yourself. It's all there, literally everything. People think people like me should be bending over backwards to write everything for every single man and woman and hand it to you all as a ready-to-go document. And the reality is, it's all you. It's all you. Literally everything I know is out there in public realm somewhere. Everything I know, I've learned it. It's out there. You can. I I keep saying it, people don't get it, and they look at people like me and other folks who can explain things a little bit further and know a bit, and they look at us and put us on pedestals as special folk, and we're not. Have you heard my language? I'm a rough one, and I always say it. I don't come from an intelligent family. I come from a miner's family. I don't come from it. It's all self-learned, and that's not because I'm special. It's not. It's because I learned it. I bothered to learn it. It fascinated me how the fuck they could get away with this shit and people do nothing about it. Well, I'll tell you how. It's because people think that they can't learn it, and that's because you've been bred to believe you're not what you are. Your mind has the ability to learn absolutely anything it's put to, literally anything. And the law, the biggest misconception there is there's too much to learn. There isn't. You start with what's relevant to you. Don't care for all the other shit. I can guarantee all of you are watching YouTube after YouTube after YouTube video that are not relevant whatsoever to what you need in your life, because it sounds great and it's always fascinating. Oh, look how deep that is. So deep. Well, how's about start with a shovel and dig a couple of scoops out, then go a bit further, dig a couple of scoops out, and then go a bit further. When you're going to handle your own affairs, that's what you need to do. Because listening to somebody who can wind you up and twist your mind in circles of all that, wow, I wish I could know that. Well, what that's doing immediately is making you think you can't know that. And you can. So it's all mindset. And people think it's too much to learn too quick. No, it isn't. It really isn't. You've got to learn what's relevant. That's all you've got to learn, what's relevant. Start off with the legal is just a blanket covering the law. That's what it is. That's what it's there for. It's hiding itself, the law is, or it's being hidden. Not locked away. It's not under lock and key. It's just hidden. Pull back that blanket of legal. Discard it. Stop trying to carry it with you. Stop trying to hug it for some comfort. It's not there to comfort you, it's there to screw you. That's the one you need to throw away and start using lawful, sorry, Freudian slip. So you just flip your mindset to the lawful. This is what they're saying legally. Well, how does that pertain to me as a man or woman? Does that pertain to me at all? Is that lawful? Is it lawful? The question is it harm, injury and loss? Is anybody losing anything? Is anybody being harmed from this? The chances are it's not lawful. So can I do this? Well, if you've got to ask, no. But the reality is yes. You shouldn't need to ask. But they're going to do this. Then preempt that. Preempt it. Get it in first before you do it. Get it set at law before you do it. And then you've preempted them. They can't do that now. That's the logical approach. And to be honest, I'm going to say that to you now, and don't think I'm saying this is fucking obvious, because yeah, it is. It's so fucking obvious that it's only just come to any of us really recently that this is really how you should be doing the whole thing, because we've been doing all sorts of things before that have bashed people away. I've been bashing them away for absolutely years. Go away, one after the other, go away, next, go away. But the reality is, they do go away. Yes, people, it don't work. Well, you did it wrong then. But the reality is, they go away, but the next one comes along. Because there's always another, because you're still there in the legal. And people say, oh, can I get away with a speeding ticket? Reality is, let's face it, you know the licence is unlawful, you don't need it. So I don't believe that's what you're worried about. So you're worried about the 100 quid fine, or whatever it is. I don't care what the number is. That's the only concern. Can I save a bit of money here? Well, you know, the reality is, you got a driving licence. I did at one point. We didn't know any better. We accepted some terms and conditions of the Road Traffic Act. This is the blanket. The terms and conditions, we accept that by signing our driving licence, a contract. So we took that contract on. Then we're bound by rules. Just rules. not laws, rules, because you've let them put the blanket over the law. But if you just do that, the police are going to pull you over, they're going to take you down to the police station and blah 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 blah, so you preempt it. And this is one of the reasons why I created the right to travel process for Unchained Remedy, because the reality is I've been doing it for quite some time, untouched and unbothered. I'm in my motor, it's got my plates on it, I'm travelling under my bond, I'm not doing anything wrong. Every single entity that could possibly have an interest is already under notice. So yeah, it's a tyrannous world. They don't let you do it. No, they don't let you do it. That's because you're asking permission. Do it, but not just go out and get in your motor, I'm changing my plates. It don't work like that. You got to do it correctly. You can't just have attitude and say, I have the right to do this. Yes, you do, but they are many. And they have guns. And ultimately they do. How far do you want to push it? So you're talking about a bully. You're not talking about a lawful entity. It isn't about law at that stage, but the reality is law does trump it. Law takes control of it. It's taking control of your life. You use the law correctly, concisely, you follow through. You don't sit there, I sent them something and they ignored. You should know by now, everybody should be here because again. But this is one of the things, and no matter how many times I say it, and people say, I watch all your videos, and then they go, right, I sent this to them and they just ignored me. I'm trying to tell you. And this is one of the problems, no matter how many times we tell folks, it don't always sink in, and that's not your fault either, because you're watching lots of things, I'm saying lots of things, some things will stick, some things won't. It goes that way. Some things slip out your head and you forget all about acquiescence. Acquiescence creates a binding contract. They didn't answer you, they didn't ignore you, they accepted and agreed in full to everything you wrote. Now what you gonna do? Now they've accepted it and agreed to it at that level, now what you gonna do? You got to deal with the level below, the parasites that are gonna come. You got to get them at that level. Now how do you do that? By putting that through court. Get judgment. You get judgment, there's your right. And it's shit that we have to do it. It's absolutely shit we have to do it. We shouldn't have to do it. That's not equity. They're not dealing with equity. They're not courts. No matter what the name says, they're ships. They're ships on the Sea of Commerce. It's commerce. They're doing business with you, with your consent, mostly. Some of you will say without consent, but to them, you're just saying, I don't consent, I do. And that's what happens, because all of your actions are consenting, and you're saying, I don't consent, and then you go and consent again with your actions, and there's your consent. You're muddying the waters. And again, not your fault, not on purpose, but this is because you don't know who you are. This is paramount in life, to know who you are. And it sounds so confusing. I've said it before. He says this like, yeah, I'm Joe Bloggs, of course I know who I am. And then you can take it a little bit further. Yeah, I know who I am, I'm a man. Yeah, you know that bit. But you still don't know who you are. And I can't tell you, this is who you are. It doesn't work that way. One day when you're on this journey and you truly are learning, one day it just comes to you. And you realise, it all fits in. And you'll not be able to explain it to anybody, but the reality is, you are the power in your life. Within that trust relationship, you are the beneficiary. Your other positions too, but you don't need to focus on the others. You're the beneficiary. That's it, you're the beneficiary. As the person, the man or woman, is just the beneficiary of that. It's yours. It was granted to you for remedy. For remedy. It's not a bad thing. People tell you to sign it over to these shield groups or get rid of it somehow. No. And don't chase it either to get out. It's nothing to do with your status at all. Nothing. It's a piece of fucking paper. It's a bond. It's a bond. It cannot be used to identify you in any realm. And yes, somebody will say banks, that's another thing going on entirely. So this should tell you it's not you. You're not bound to it. Stop trying to use it to prove you're a man or a woman. I mean, when you break it all down, basically, do you need anything, any piece of paper in the world to tell somebody you're alive? Can you stand in front of somebody and say, I'm alive, prove I'm not? Now, yeah, really simple. Try it in court. But start at the basics and work yourself from there. I'm a man. That's what I am. I was granted dominion over this that we call world, and I was granted that dominion by my creator, and there was no man in between. Anywhere. There was no man in between. And now you can go into, but my parents signed my birth certificate. That's not my fucking contract, that's theirs. Go and hold them to that. That's not my contract. Where's my informed consent? It's nothing to do with your birth certificate. Fuck it. It's a piece of paper. Don't care for it one bit. Don't chase it. Don't care at all for it. Yes, you can use them. You used to be able to use the number off the back of it on fidelity.com to track your Sescovy full account and see your numbers. I did many years ago. Somewhere around about 10 billion, and that's a guy who's never paid a damn fucking thing into the system. So you can't be thinking for 1 minute that it's just on the production. They do float it, and it's against the production that you're going to give, but it's assumed production. It's not factual production. But in essence, every time you get into trouble, that does hit the tally, obviously. And then fractional banking and such like. There's all sorts of going on with these bank accounts, but don't chase them. Don't get wrapped up with them. It's of no fucking interest to you whatsoever. All these groups that'll have you chasing these fictional bank accounts, well, fuck me. I did that years ago, and I had a book, just a normal notepad, sort of a little mini notepad, like a pocket-sized notepad, a red-backed paper one from a newsagent, that sort of one. I'm sure you can picture it. And that was full. Every page was a bank account. Every single page, and I had to start another one. And I don't know how far I got through that one before I found out it was all a load of bollocks. But yes, there's loads of accounts out there that are attached to your numbers, effectively to your person. There's lots of fuckery in the world. Stop chasing fuckery. All you're going to do is spin in circles. Spin in circles. Don't pay any mind to it. Sovereignty is a fact. Your status is the important thing. We can call it all sorts in the private. It don't matter what you call it. It isn't about sovereignty being the label. I'm sovereign. That's a matter of fact. So are you, whether you know it or not. We're all bloody sovereign. Some people are acting as persons. Well, that's just their fault because they don't know any better. If they stopped acting like that, they'd be sovereign. And that's a fact. So you've just got to learn who you are for that. But you're correcting your status, or evidencing your status, should I say, you offer for rebuttal. You've got to correct who you are in their eyes. You are their slave. As I explained earlier. I actually wrote something earlier. But the reality is, I always go back to something from earlier. The reality is, they do believe they own you. They play with the populations. The population goes up, they do a boom, they create all these births, and now they have created a life. They made you. Without them, you would not have existed. This population would not be these numbers without them. They created the booms. They own you. That's their opinion, and that's how they're brought up from the time they're born. That's what they're brought up to believe. So you can't really hold it against them when they think they own you. You can hold it against them when they do what they do, but as a mindset, that's just instilled into them. They have no care for us at all. It's worse than we feel for our dogs. Now it's time they don't need us. Now they're going to cull us down to a population that they need, and that's what they do. Up when they need us, down when they don't. Now they don't. So what they're going to do, pretty blatant. Everything they're doing is pretty blatant. If you're still going along with things, or you're going to go along with things, or you're just sitting there thinking it'll blow over and go past you, you're fucked, sorry. It's not going to blow past you. You must know this by now, and I'm not being doom and gloom. If you're proactive and you get off your arses, you learn who you are, you sort your shit out, you're going to have the very, very best chance you're going to have, possibly. I can't guarantee anything. They might come over with Jew weaponry and just melt the town you're in, and then you're gone. What can I say? But the law does unveil that shield if you will allow it. Everything they're doing, all this bullshit that they're doing, we've got the answers in Unchained Remedy. We've got the answers to most situations, apart from the 5 to 12 ones, or 5 past 12 ones, should I say, where it's like, I'm at court now, what can I do? And I've got this imminent, and I've got these little things that are just like a fine, really, that I just don't want to pay, because we're doing some really, really important shit. So folks, when you get in touch with us, you have got to understand we're doing some really, really deep and important shit. So we've got everything laid out for you, whichever side you want to go to. There's loads in the free side, and from what I gather, and I have had I had a couple of comments, but then it was clearly misunderstood, and when they realised what was really there, all that was all over with. As far as I know, there's been absolutely not one bad bit of feedback. Probably Joe's still thumbs down in that one thumbs down I get on everyone, and I did pick up a couple more with the shows lately, so maybe I get a couple, but nobody has knocked our shit, and it's the reason why they haven't is because they can't. It is as simple as that. And it's the same reason why none of my shit's been knocked all of the years I've been doing it. It can't be knocked. And yes, I'm a man, I make silly little mistakes like everybody else, but all my shit's in order. It works, it works. Whatever we do works. If you are prepared to know what you're doing, learn what you're doing, and put your own mind into something, it can't not work. It does start with you and it ends with you, always. You've got to put it into it. What you've got to do is realise that legal system is a cloak. Pull it back. See the law for what it is. Because the legal system is massive, it's so complicated. The law is humongous too, but not in the same way as the legal system. Because like the mental index for the law that you need to keep here is really simple, is that harm, injury or loss, and then you can narrow it down from that. What court are they taking it into? Well, now you can narrow it down from that. What jurisdiction is it? Blah blah blah. You're always going to have the bottom line, does this apply to me, the man or woman? That's where it comes down to. Do statutes apply to you? No. Can you prove that? Yes. Right, so that's that one out of the way. And do they apply to you while they're playing their little games? Yes. So why didn't you play your games first? You go first. That's the whole point. You go, you set in stone what you're doing, then go and do it. Get the lawful right to do it evidenced. Not asking permission anymore. You're not asking for licenses. You're proving at law that you have the right to do this. Only you've got the intelligence to know that if you just start doing it for the hell of it, because you've got attitude and you've got the right to, you know that that's going to go very, very wrong for you. So if you're going to still do that, you're doing that with full knowledge. Now that's you doing it to yourself. But if you know, yeah, I've got to go through all this messing about and bringing a claim on them. Oh, I've got to go even more messing about. I've got to actually learn how to do it. Oh, well, there's a website there, unchainedremedy.com, that'll show you how to do it. Yeah, well, what shall I do now? I'll just go, fuck it, I've got the right to do it. I'm just going to do it. And then you're going to do it, and you're going to get yourself into shit, and then you're going to say, yeah, I've tried, you can't travel under your rights to travel. I've heard so many of the big boys say it. You can't do it, you can't do it. And yes, you should be able to, you can't do it. I'm living fucking proof, you can. So, and here it is, we've got the process up there. The reality is, you've got to wake up to your own power. You have got to wake up. You are so fucking powerful. You are so powerful. You just have no idea how powerful you are. Come learn. There's literally nothing that's in the shop that I haven't and I wouldn't explain how to do. if you've got the knowledge. If you've got the knowledge to pull it off, I'll tell you. But if you can't comprehend what I say, don't waste my time asking me, because all you're doing is taking up a shitload of my time for nothing. But the reality is, all the processes, I tell everybody, I always have told everybody everything I've done for nothing. But me telling you that doesn't give you what's in my document, because I'm not reading it from the paper. I'm just telling you the answer. This is what you do, that's what you do. If you haven't got the ability to put that together into a process and create, then you need to learn and apply. As it is, we've got a shop that gives it you, or we've got, should I say, the shop that's for remuneration will give it to you. We've got a free side that'll explain it to you. We're standing in honour in everything. There's nobody can, as far as I can see, there's nobody can knock us, because when you get to the bigger things, just look at how big they are. Just look at what they are and what they must entail before you judge anything. So the fact is, like I say, it all starts with you. But we have catered for literally everybody. Those that don't want to put any effort in, those that do want to put any effort in. We're catering for those that want to undo the damage done by the restrictions. Now, folks that are sending emails to us saying, I've got this problem with that with my work, and have a look in the free file sections on it. It's all there. There's answers to every single situation there that we can think of, and if there isn't, tell us and we'll see what we can do. We'll tell you, and you can adapt something that is there that's very easy. We try to tell everybody everything, but we do know that you can't just be told something really, really deep and then go and do it. It doesn't work that way. You have to know this, and you have to know who you are. So folks, you've got to pull back that blanket. You have to. If you're going to sit in the realm of legal, you've got to sit in there under their rules. You know that. And you're going to fight them. Now, in many cases, you can do it. You can fight them and you can win. It's much harder, and you'll have to do it again and again and again and again and again, because they'll just, another one will come, and then another one will come, and then another one will come, because you're still sitting there. You're sitting in the firing line. It's you that has to get up and walk off of the firing line. You have to. If you're going to stand there, you are in the legal. So think long and hard about how you're going to do things. And now I'm fine with just fight everything as it comes. That's what I used to do for everybody. Just bam, bam, bam. Fight everything as it comes if you've got the knowledge to do it. But I promise you, it'll drain you. Or you learn to sit in the private. But it starts with you. It does start with you. So anyway, folks, on that note, a bit deep, wasn't it? I hope you benefit from it, get something from it, or if not, if you can't benefit from that, get your arse into unchainedremedy.com. Let's do a blatant plug here. Get your arse in there and see what you can get from that. It is what we did it for. Have a good one all. Ta-da.